Says it's supposed to be under string key with a persistent string key, right? And the string keys match with the whatever the vmix says.
Welcome into the Lawrence Tech Sports Network. Back with you today. Greetings, everyone. I'm Jason Ross Jr. Pleasure to be back in the broadcast booth with you. Yesterday, it was an enchanting performance from the junior Kevin Wright that led to the Blue Devil victory that now has them in this championship match, this highly anticipated match between the Foresters and the Blue Devils. Alvaro Marino up ahead to Kevin Wright, who was the star yesterday. A luminescent performance from Kevin Wright, the hat trick from the junior, native of Linden, Michigan. The Foresters have traveled about 201 miles to make it here, and they're in search of a continued resurgence later on in this week after suffering their first loss of the season to Indiana Tech. on Monday. They had to wait a few long days to get back at it, but were able to defeat Point Park yesterday by a score of 3-1, and now we find ourselves in the position of such a big game on the schedule for both teams, looking to get the month of September started off on the right foot. And it's a pleasure to have you here on the LTU Sports Network, getting our men's soccer coverage underway, second broadcast of the season. Blue Devils playing under the watchful eye of head coach Will Dyer, employing that 4-3-3 system. Blue Devils felt that yesterday they were really given that time and space to turn and look up the field and make those key forward passes. Felt that it was a bit of a slow start. Not totally satisfied, but 7 goals were put up on the board. A season high, and now flying down that wing goes Nicholas Rodriguez-Bermejo. Rodriguez-Bermejo still Huntington was knotted up at 1 apiece going into the half yesterday against Point Park, but felt that they were truly in control and in command for the most part. Were able to obviously separate themselves in that second half. Bit of green, bit of blue in the stands this afternoon on a relatively chilly 66-degree September afternoon. Feels like fall, really, for the first time. A stark contrast to the last time I was here just earlier this week for women's soccer when a couple of water breaks were necessary. It was a real humid and damp Tuesday earlier this week, and now we find most of the supporters in attendance dressed in jackets and long sleeves. Kevin Wright had it momentarily, but the ball is played safely back to the starting goalkeeper today for the Foresters. That is Gabriel Greenfield, making his 5th start in 5 games this season for the Foresters. Nice strong defensive play in the midfield, that time from Alvaro Garcia, the Spaniard, one of 6 Spaniards on this LTU roster. Now turning with it, here is Alvaro Marino. He'll play it on back. Marino, and a nice defensive job that time by Noah Stanford, the Stittsville, Ohio native, the defenseman, the sophomore from Stittsville. Small suburban community in Ottawa, Ontario. A few Canadians on both sides. Bit of open space here for the Foresters, but unable to corral it and settle it down that time. Luke Unger, who's already produced 3 goals on the season, one of the threats offensively for this Huntington team as they look to play it ahead now. Settling it down nicely, Noah Fleming, Fort Wayne, Indiana native. Decided to stay close to home. Now here's Kevin Wright. On back to Sirwatka. Blue Devils finding a little bit here, but just out of the reach to no avail that time, making a run down that left-hand side once Alvaro Marino, who scored in the 80th minute versus Kaiser, that 1-1 tie down in Palm Beach, Florida, where the Blue Devils really found out, they said they found out what it's going to take to get to that point of being able to make it against those national, some of the best teams in the nation, and they have aspirations certainly to make it to the national tournament this year. And that was a very fine test for them going down there. Blue Devils started off that Kaiser Invitational with a 3-1 loss to Mobile, and then it was followed up by that 1-1 tie against the host University Kaiser. Now the Blue Devils hosting a couple of matches of their own. The foul was called there, getting up rather gingerly. Appears to be Mazati Banda. That was Ty Sprout, rather, the senior. 3 goals in 2018 already for Sprout. Expect him to be an integral part of the action this afternoon. The first time there making his way out of the goal, Max Jewett. Jewett at 6'6" out of Sterling Heights. Yesterday it was Peter Arton playing the goalkeeper position. Played all 90 minutes. He had started that previous match against Kaiser. Jewett last started on August 31st. That was the 3-1 loss to Mobile. There's Chris Serwatka, one of the senior leaders, and in that central mid position for the Blue Devils. Started in all 17 games a season ago. Moving down that left side goes Blake Cook. And the Blue Devils now find themselves trying to stick with it, compact position defensively. Nice job from that back line there in this 4-3-3 formation. Appears to be Nicholson and Michael Avia, who's now pressuring up defensively on those center back positions. Turning with it, Matthias Luzada. Miguel De Souza making a run after it, and stopped promptly that time by Bryce Nicholson. The sophomore did a nice job there, hustling back and aware of the situation. Nicholson started 13 of 18 games during a promising freshman year, hoping to build on that and continued growth this season. He was able to build up 1 goal and 1 assist in 2017. Played club for Midwest United, had 2 shots yesterday. Noah Fleming. Up ahead to Matthias Luzada. Back to Fleming. Here's Fleming once more. Sean Humphreys for the Blue Devils. He'll go up ahead in search of Adrian Milling. Now the Blue Devils find themselves getting back defensively. Once again, Nicholson. Swift and prompt. Travis Hurtis, the Canadian, gets us underway here. Michael Avia back defensively. A nice crowd has built up here at the LTU Athletic Field. Once again on a rather brisk afternoon here in Southfield, Michigan. The throw in, and the header won that time by Nicholson, but back out. Fleming had aspirations for it, but Sirwatka did a nice job, although turned back over. Here's Fleming. That duel won that time there by Sean Humphreys, the freshman. Blue Devils find themselves trying to contain now. Here's Sirwatka. Marino able to clear to the midfield. Nice, quick, efficient touches in the midfield, advancing that ball forward. Key passes. Played well so far for the Foresters. Now looking to leak in behind that back line. Went Fleming. Bit of a collision. It's loose. Fleming. And the Foresters are on the board. It's Noah Fleming, the Fort Wayne, Indiana native. He notches his second goal of the season. And the Foresters feasting there. 1-0. It's been an energetic Noah Fleming early on. No hesitation, just energy. For the second day in a row, the Foresters have struck first here at the LTU Athletic Field. Spirited rush down the right-hand side there, but that battle, that effort will favor Huntington. Blue Devils trying to turn the tide now. Alvaro Marino. Sirwatka on it now. Fleming down ahead, making a run there through the middle. Went Luke Unger. Unger and Fleming, quite the duo for this Huntington squad. They certainly have high aspirations and high expectations for this season. They were off to a 3-0 start until 2-0 rather, until suffering their first loss of the season earlier this week to Indiana Tech. Waited a long few days, and that energy and that will to bounce back has been apparent over these past couple of days. Here's Bryce Nicholson, Michael Avia, on to Jewett. Jewett in search of Alvaro Marino. Back in the midfield, Blue Devils looking to settle it down with his head up. Here is Sean Humphreys. The freshman will look for Marino. It appears to be a wing-back role. Now here's Kevin Wright, the man who had a hat trick yesterday. The delivery. Not quite enough gray jerseys in the vicinity that time. Humphreys with 1 assist in 2018. Alvaro Marino looking to turn. Huntington certainly hasn't given the Blue Devils quite as much time as they had yesterday to turn and look up the field. And a nice job done once more defensively there from Huntington. Matthias Lozada looking. He finds Miguel De Souza. Now Noah Stanford on over to Travis Hurtis, the 5'8" sophomore. Blue Devils now looking to break free. Streaking down that right side goes Alvaro Garcia, battling and dueling away against Miguel De Souza. Just under half an hour to play here in this opening half. It was Noah Fleming putting one goal on the board so far in the 11th minute. The Blue Devil faithful watching with a quiet anticipation, hoping for an equalizer. Here's Wright, now playing it down that side. Flying down there went Adrian Milling. As play makes its way over in front of that Huntington sideline, the eye of 19th year man, the veteran Russ Lawson, watching over this Huntington squad. His team off to a good start yesterday. He felt like the energy was right where it needed to be from that first whistle, and he'll certainly hope to do that again today. He thought that it was a fantastic response from Monday's loss, and now they've had a fantastic response early on from their victory yesterday. But trailing down that left-hand side goes Alvaro Marino once more. Sirwatka, his delivery into the box. Now a shot there, clipping off the fingertips that time of the goalkeeper, Gabe Greenfield. It was the delivery from about 25 yards out, coming in that time from Tyler Gregory. Alvaro Garcia, rather. Garcia in his senior campaign as we prepare for the corner. Here it comes, low cross. Onto that near post and out. Edge of the area now right. Sent back in, that time by Nicholas Rodriguez, but the header on back out. Blue Devils looking to spark something now. Adrian Milling, and they'll head back into that midfield. Nicholson scanning. Wright made a bit of a run. Back out Marino. Still Marino. Two shots yesterday for Marino. Will Dyer and Steve Cook look on. Will in his 8th season and Steve in his 6th season in that assistant coach role. Such a great tandem. Blue Devil team inching closer to WAC play. Just a couple more matches. Robert Morris and Spring Arbor. Those will both be on the road before we provide you the broadcast of a highly anticipated rivalry matchup with Madonna. That'll be September 22nd at 4 p.m. to open up conference play. The second corner of the afternoon. Once again to that near post area. Marino, appears to be Michael Avila in there. Kevin Wright and company. But just not quite realistic enough of a chance. 1-0 Huntington. Alvaro Garcia, the blast with the left foot, right off the chest and hopping up off that artificial turf, but back into the grasp of Gabe Greenfield, the 6'1" sophomore goalkeeper. On the other side, providing ample height, is the 6'6" goalkeeper Maxwell Jewett. And there is Jewett. For Sirwatka, a little bit of time and space. He'll find Kevin Wright. Now Nicholson will settle it down. See Nicholson back there also with Andrew North. Expect him to substitute in at some point during this match. Nicholson once again such an impressive freshman campaign and now looking to find a way to back that up. Here's Sirwatka. Garcia. Once again, mentioned head coach Will Dyer entering his 8th season with the men's soccer team. Dyer's team broke multiple records last season. First time that the Blue Devils made it to the WAC tournament championship. Bit of a promising run there from Fleming once more. Team finished with their best overall record last year at 14-5-2. Now the Blue Devils at 2-1-1 on the season. Looking to keep things perfect on the home turf. They currently trail 1-0. Here are the Foresters looking to start something once more. It's the Canadian Travis Hurtis. Down the side, Bryce Nicholson will safely take care of it. Fleming, the lone goal scorer. Settling things down now, Huntington, but coming out of his net is Jewett. A couple of men with promising chances there in green. Just over 20 minutes to play. Overcast skies ahead. Somewhat ominous clouds. But for the most part, we have watched a bright match unfold before our eyes here in this opening half from the LTU athletic field. Intentions that time for Kevin Wright. Now streaking down that side goes Matthias Luzada. Back the other way, looking at counterattack now are the Blue Devils. Alvaro Garcia. Kevin Wright was there, but it'll be dropped back. Not at the will of the Blue Devils, but forced back that time by Huntington. Wright. Kevin Wright once more. Now to Sean Humphreys, the freshman. Humphreys from Woodlands International College, native of South Africa. It is a roster comprised of several international players for the Blue Devils. representing such great diversity here at Lawrence Tech University. Edge of the area that time. The intentions for Chris Serwatka as he traveled down into the penalty area. Miguel De Souza almost turned over that time. Blue Devils pressuring up here. Yesterday we saw head coach Will Dyer directing his team defensively. Get a bit more aggressive at times. Adrian Milling. Was he taken down from behind that time? No signal. And now Nicholson will take things over. Back to Michael Avila. The Toronto native plays it on down. Serwatka in the vicinity. Blue Devils with the number advantage there on that right-hand side. And now looking to settle things down, Alvaro Marino from King's College. The finance and accounting major will hope to engineer something, but that'll lead to a throw-in once more. Rather swift throw-in. And now Serwatka. On back he goes to Alvaro Garcia. Nice job meeting him promptly. That time, Matheus Luzada, who feels as though Luzada has been all over the place this afternoon. He already has 2 goals and 4 assists on the season, leading the way for Huntington with 8 points on the year. Through 4 games, one of a couple of Rio de Janeiro natives on that Huntington roster. 18 career goals for the senior Luzada. Expect to hear his name quite often this afternoon and quite often throughout the Huntington season. Serwatka will go somewhat safely on back. Trying to pressure that time. And pressuring rather successfully is Ty Sprout. Blue Devils able to clear though. Played on in Noah Fleming. Looking to take away his time and space for the Blue Devils. He's able to get it back to the midfield for Travis Hurtis, the senior, one of 9 seniors on this Huntington roster. Humphreys, a nice job of anticipating there. Avila. Blue Devils now taking more time away from this Huntington team, and now they'll look to push ahead offensively. Not quite enough space that time between Alvaro Garcia and Kevin Wright. Tad bit congested, but now moving down here goes Rodriguez Bermejo. Kevin Wright bursting through with the spirit of adventure, but couldn't quite get all the way through. This Blue Devil team hoping to run the 4-3-3 to success this afternoon. Ball is rolled softly and lightly on back to Gabe Greenfield. And the Brazilian will have a chance to decide what to do with it now. Coach Will Dyer felt that Calumet would be a feisty opponent yesterday. Kevin Wright felt that the group was a bit slow in the beginning, but you know, they had that time to turn and dribble, and certainly an advantage that you'll take against any team. I think the consensus was that things definitely grew throughout the match in a positive fashion for the Blue Devils, and obviously in a positive fashion on the scoreboard. That final was 7-2 yesterday. What was, on the scoreboard at least, truly a dream start for the Blue Devils. Here is Kevin Wright. He'll go back to Sirwatka as those two look to advance down. Turning and directing traffic with it here is Adrian Milling. Went spiraled down and he'll grab his knee. And that'll merit a yellow card. With confrontation ensuing afterwards. Adrian Milling kind of galloping up, and right away he'll have to get back into the action here. Here's Michael Avia, now down to Alvaro Marino. Avia looking to step in, but on up to Fleming. The goal scorer slipped a bit, redeemed himself. Now he'll look. Nifty skills from Fleming. Knocked off, and he'll get up looking in the direction of the official. There's a blast! Whoa! What a goal! What an equalizer! The fans were in search of an equalizer. I don't know if they thought it would come in that fashion. From about 45 yards out, that appeared to be Avia. And we're at 1-1. That was Sirwatka. The senior, we've called his name quite a bit, and he's able to beat Gabe Greenfield that time, pulling out magic from his box of tricks. The element of surprise on display that time. And we are one apiece here at the LTU Athletic Field. Now a nifty play there to the delight of the crowd from Rodriguez Bermejo as the momentum builds up a bit, both on the field and in the crowd. A sense of pleasure hovering over the LTU Athletic Field now. Back up to Sirwatka. In search of Garcia, it appears, down that right-hand side. That was Marino. Just over 10 to play here in this first half on the LTU athletic field. Huntington, tad bit of open space. Running through there went a few green jerseys, and now here is Guillermo Lins Souza. Marino, and now right. Running with him with quite a bit of intention went Alvaro Marino. Jordan Morris in for Fleming on the Huntington side. And Souza made his way in for Stanford. Cohen also in for Manning. That magical goal from Sirwatka, now listed at 40 yards out. Beating a sprawling goalkeeper in Gabe Greenfield. Pure magic, pure surprise, pure brilliance. And it's 1-1 here at the LTU Athletic Field. Turning with it here goes Nicolas Rodriguez Bermejo. Back he goes to Garcia. The Spaniard will play it on over. Nipping his way in here, edge of the area went Alvaro Garcia. Now chasing back after it, bit of a bump there in the midfield. And the Blue Devils will play it on back safely. Feeling as though they have been in command over these past couple of minutes. Trying to continue to ride off the momentum of that spectacular goal. 8:31 to play here in this opening half. Rodriguez Bermejo, watched cautiously by Travis Hurtis. Into the area and pulled down by the sleeved arms of Gabe Greenfield, the Brazilian. Unger. Stalked there that time by Corbin Walecki, and mentioned the Blue Devils inching closer to WAC play, just a couple of matches away. They were picked third in the conference. The conference's preseason coaches poll. So many hoping for this Blue Devils team, and many have pretty realistic expectations that they could do something this year, do something that they hope to do, and that would certainly be a WAC Conference Championship. Coming off their best record in program history, 14-5-2. Three games into this season, the Foresters have had very well spread out goal scoring. It's been a diverse source of production. They have at least 6 different goal scorers so far. 3 games into the season, 6 different Foresters have scored. Matthias Luzada, Ty Sprout, Luke Unger, and Ben Arnold, each posting 2 goals. Earlier today, it was Noah Fleming who got us underway. Kevin Wright got things underway for the Blue Devils yesterday as Sirwatka lies on the turf, grasping what appears to be his chin. Now the officials will jog over to see if he is in fact all right.
Also in the game for the Foresters, number 14, Brown will be coming.
Ryan Resendez has made his way out onto the field for the Blue Devils. We saw him play a pretty significant role yesterday. Coming out goes Adrian Milling, as this free kick is ahead for Guillermo Lins Souza, also a substitution. Now more discussions with the officials ensue. Played into the box. Header, and to no avail. Coming out there safely is Jewett. Edge of the 6-yard box there, Jewett. Jumping up there rather quickly was Travis Hurtis, leading down that right-hand side. Christian Cohen, the Centerville, Ohio native, undecided as to what he would like to major, but hoping to make an impression on the soccer field as a freshman. All tossed in there. There's the header, and a brilliant play by Jewett. An alert play, a leaping play at 6'6", using that height rather well and to his advantage. Under 3 to play, and a big save made there by Maxwell Jewett, making his first start since August 31st, the 3-1 loss to Mobile. But a corner kick will ensue here, and it will be Guillermo Lins Souza, the senior with quite a bit of experience. The Brazilian delivers in to no avail. Nice job done there by Sirwatka, the lone goal scorer for the Blue Devils, who produced quite a bit of magic in that lone goal. So we edge closer to the break. Edge of the area. Kind of a hooking attempt there from Alvaro Camwild. Pretty quick and efficient touches overall in that midfield area for the Foresters. Haven't really seen them dwelling on the ball very much. Kind of an interesting, feels like what's been an interesting momentum sequence and flips back and forth in terms of which team has been stronger overall on the ball. It feels like that has dealt much with the momentum of this game. Wonder how the legs of these players are feeling, how much of a role the conditioning will play in the latter parts of this second half. That, if this is any indication of what we'll have in the latter parts of the second half, could be very interesting and very tiring parts of this match, knowing that obviously both of these teams just played yesterday. Could see quite a few substitutions as a part of the game plan on both sides. Might take a bit longer to warm up than it has early on in this season, knowing this is undoubtedly the coolest match that both of these teams have had to be a part of so far in terms of the weather. Just under 65 degrees here in Southfield. Fans have come draped in blankets and wearing long sleeve jackets. A sight that we haven't been used to so far, a sight that we certainly weren't used to earlier in the week when the women played here and people were desperate for water bottles. There were 2 water breaks needed in that women's match earlier this week. Interesting collision there. And now a bit of an open space down that left-hand side for the Foresters. Broken up rather quickly and swiftly by the Blue Devils. Back that time for it was Bryce Nicholson, the sophomore. Pleading his case, Alvaro Alaman felt that he was certainly fouled. And now he might have to be restrained a bit. Went down quickly, grabbing that knee. Still tending to it. Certainly was not pleased when he got up. Felt that the defender did not get any of the ball. We don't have replay, but this would be an interesting one to look back on. From up here in the broadcast booth, it looks like he got chopped down pretty good. Quickly grabbed what appeared to be the left knee. Welcome back to what should be a thrilling second half of action here on the LTU Sports Network. Currently knotted up at 1 apiece. It was Noah Fleming in the first 10 minutes of this one, and then a sprinkle of magic from Chris Serwatka from about 40 yards out to tie it up at 1 apiece. And the Blue Devils looking to transition down the other way, chasing after it, Alvaro Marino. Serwatka in on the action, back to Marino. He'll settle it down, pressured from behind there by Matheus Luzada, who was all over the place defensively in that first half. There he is once more, making an imprint out of the gates here in this second half. Back it goes. The watchful eye of Kevin Wright. Looking on here, Travis Ripe, the senior at 5'11", will deliver on in for Noah Stafford, the 6-foot sophomore from Stittsville, Ontario. And down, grabbing the ankle, not a good sign in just the first couple of minutes. That appears to be Adrian Milling. Plenty of controversial discussions in that first half, and another one just a couple of minutes into the second half. Nicholson played a pretty good first half. Now here's Kevin Wright. Goes spiraling down there, battling his way up. Ultimately loses it. Now header won there by the Foresters, and they'll have a chance for the throw in. Taking those duties, as we saw for much of the first half, is Travis Hurtis from Toronto. 3 assists on the season for Hurtis. Plays plenty of minutes. Matheus Luzada. And back to Jake Erlandson. Settled down nicely that time by Luke Unger. Now here's Miguel De Souza. He goes down. And the foul called there, and Serwatka talked to by the official. Couple of experienced coaches going head-to-head in this Blue Devil Classic Championship match. Russ Lawson in his 19th year, head coach Will Dyer in his 8th season at the helm for Lawrence Tech. The free kick awarded here, and Matheus Luzada the ability of Maxwell Jewett to stretch his body out on display once more there at 6'6". And that'll lead us to a corner. Set pieces haven't been all too good for either side. The near post is where they'll try that time, and that'll produce another chance. Can feel the magnitude of these moments, these chances. Header popped out nicely there from the Blue Devils. Hoping they can get somewhat of a counterattack going here. Foresters do a nice job to collapse on it. There is Hurtis. They'll go back. Two shots on goal for both sides in that first half. Fans really fed off the momentum for a few minutes from that LTU goal from Chris Serwatka, and it felt like the team really fed off that goal over the final few minutes of that first half. Here's another delivery into the area, but delivered on back out, and now looking to get behind the defense is Kevin Wright, but that ball will sail on out of bounds over to that Blue Devil sideline. A few feet to the left of a child who has been such a great story for this LTU team. Aiden Smith, brought on as the honorary Team Impact player for the season. It was such a pleasure to be a part of that ceremony, that draft night that brought Aiden in through Team Impact. He's in his first season with the team out of Roseville, Michigan. Certainly a man that this LTU team feeds off of, and they're certainly grateful to have him, and Aiden certainly loves being a part of the team as there is a delivery into the area, and the header goes out of play. Bit too tough to handle that time. Was such a great night bringing in Aiden Smith to the Blue Devil family. Plenty of coverage done that was done so well from the local networks. Channel 7, Channel 4, Channel 2, all getting involved. And the LTU athletic department and state champs obviously doing such a nice job with it as well. Great to see him on the sidelines for games, as he will be all throughout this season for the Blue Devils. Certainly an inspiring person that this Blue Devil team can hopefully get some inspiration of their own, and like any team, they'll need resiliency at some point. Dancing with it here is Adrian Milling. We've seen him go down to this artificial turf a couple of times. He appears to be back up and active. Michael Avia goes down. There's Tyler Gregory. Alvaro Marino. Gregory on that right-hand side. Calling forward. Here's Gregory. Watched cautiously that time by Travis Rippey. And a nice job from the sophomore on that back line for the Huntington Foresters out of Blackhawk Christian High School. This will present another chance, this time for Alvaro Marino at 6 foot to deliver on in. Gregory, not much time, but able to find Serwatka. Trying to squeeze through the congested space over there. They give it to Serwatka, nice little touch, but that congested space ended up favoring Huntington. Now popped up and skied high up off the noggin there of Bryce Nicholson. And now back down it goes. Huntington opened up their season with a big victory over Madonna, who was ranked 15th in the nation at the time. That was by a score of 3-1, and that, you can imagine, boosted the confidence of this Forester squad. They came out with confidence this afternoon. They came out with confidence yesterday afternoon, and it's a win like that that can really spark a team throughout a season. A victory that most did not think they would acquire early on, but they were able to. Mentioned that 3 games into the season, 6 different Foresters have scored. Streaking down this left-hand side, a chance for the Blue Devils. The header that time from Gregory, the 5'11" sophomore from Livonia. A promising look, a big chance with visions of gold, but to no avail that time. And we're still at 1 apiece. Trying to gallop his way on through. Here goes Alvaro Garcia. A little bit of open space, but deterred that time and dispossessed. Now Huntington looking to counterattack. It's Noah Stafford. He's been buzzing around quite a bit. Ty Sprout turning. Noah Stanford once more. Dispossessed there, and back it goes to the midfield. Nice job to meet the ball right on time there by Rodriguez Bermejo, one of 5 different goal scorers yesterday and a part of a 7-goal effort for the Blue Devils. 9 goals as a freshman for Rodriguez Bermejo. It's Gregory, and coming back for it is Alvaro Marino. Looks up, dancing, but stripped. Back comes Luke Unger. Travis Hurtis, watched by Gregory. Stanford. Jake Erlandson, the Dayton Christian High School alum, part of that back line for the Foresters. They've stayed strong for the most part. It was the element of surprise presented by Chris Serwatka towards the latter part of that first half. There's another long attempt. That time appeared to be delivered in. Six total shots for the Blue Devils in this one. Two of which have been on goal. There's Adrian Milling on the last attempt.
Also in the game for the Foresters, number 20, Noah Fleming.
Noah Fleming, the lone goal scorer in the vicinity over there. He checks back in for the Frenchman, Valentin de Connick. Jake Rajewski in for Alvaro Marino, who has done his fair share of running and has earned a deserved rest. (1-1), still half an hour to play. Prior to this Blue Devil Classic beginning, the Lawrence Tech squad went to a second overtime that saw no goals against Kaiser. That was a 1-1 tie. Now in a similar position at 1-1 here in the championship match of this Blue Devil Classic as the crowd comes alive a bit, as this match begins to come alive a bit in the second half for the Blue Devils. Pretty good student section out in attendance today here on the beautiful campus of Lawrence Tech University. This newly renovated athletic field that hopes to see many great matches throughout its future history as Lawrence Tech hopes to continue to develop their athletic facilities. A projected stadium to be built along the way, possibly in a few years. Obviously, last weekend was such a momentous occasion on this Lawrence Tech campus. First football game since 1946. Blue Devils grabbed that victory. They went out on the road today against Wisconsin Lutheran. Got down, scored 20 unanswered. Were able to come all the way back and win 30-22. Sounds like it was quite the afternoon in Milwaukee for that Blue Devil football team, and they're at 2-0 on the season now. Hoping to improve on that next week when Pittsburgh's club team comes to town. We'll have that broadcast right here for you on the LTU Sports Network. Certainly excited for that one. Following week, the Blue Devils will travel to Ypsilanti to go up against Eastern Michigan's club team as that exhibition season continues for this Blue Devil football team under head coach Jeff Duvendeck. They've done such a nice job early on and engineered quite the comeback on the road. For more coverage on that, you can check out the LTU Sports Report coming up on Monday. That'll be on every Monday at 4:30 p.m. on Fox Sports Detroit, where you can check out LTU football, LTU soccer, LTU volleyball on the men's and women's side. Certainly a part of the growth of this LTU athletic department. What has been such an outstanding growth since 2011. So many varsity teams on campus, and football has highlighted that progress, no doubt. As the fans applaud the effort there that time from Jake Rajewski, just in providing energy off the bench for that Blue Devil team. The Midland, Michigan native, the junior from Muskegon. You can also check out coverage of that LTU football victory from earlier today on the LTU Athletics website. Make sure to follow along on our LTU Athletics Facebook page for more live streams and more action, as Fleming had aspirations for a second goal streaking down that right-hand side, but deterred rather well that time from Bryce Nicholson, who has done quite the job defensively for the Blue Devil team. Under half an hour to play now from the LTU athletic field. It's a pleasure to have you here on the LTU Sports Network. Our second men's soccer broadcast. Dancing with it here, Adrian Milling, and he's taken down. Desi Cook doing a great job behind the camera this afternoon. And now she'll spot in on Chris Serwatka. Towards the edge of the area they go, but coming on out there was Gabe Greenfield, making his first start since August 31st. He's done a nice job. The two goalkeepers have done their duty this afternoon. It's a 1-1 tie now, 25-15 to play here in this second half. The Blue Devil Classic Championship here on the LTU Sports Network. The Foresters have traveled about 200 miles to get here. About a 3-hour bus ride up from Huntington. Their women's team was here not too long ago, going up against the Lady Blue Devils. Andy Richards' team ready to head out to play Spring Arbor pretty soon. Spring Arbor is such a tough squad this year, as they usually do. Currently ranked #1. That'll be quite the test for the Blue Devils, coming off a loss to Division II Purdue Northwest. Blue Devils women's soccer program also getting closer and closer to opening up WAC play. Follow along with our women's soccer package here on the LTU Sports Network. We'll have 10 of those broadcasts for you. Tyler Gregory. He'll look back, searching for reinforcements. Couldn't find anything initially, and that might have slowed down the process just a bit too much. Alvaro Alemán, the Madrid native, gets us back underway. And here is Alemán once more. Business administration major. 1 goal a season ago for Alemán. Still in search of his first of this year. From the capital of Spain in Madrid, one of 6 Spaniards on this LTU roster. And here is Tyler Gregory from Livonia, Michigan, his home not too far away, playing under the eye of his fellow family and friends as that attempt soars high atop the net. It was Rodriguez Bermejo that time. His first shot of the afternoon. So we begin to get into the anxious moments of this battle. It's a 1-1 battle. The pressure continues to become more and more palpable as this storyline develops. Noah Stafford closed on quickly. Not much space that time for Fleming. Michael Avia doing a nice job. Header won by Gregory. Sirwatka. Here's Sirwatka once more. The header leading Sirwatka, and couldn't quite settle it down. High atop, ricocheting off the right side of the foot that time of Cam Wild. Back defending there for the Fort Wayne, Indiana native, one of the senior leaders on this Huntington roster. But that will produce a corner for Sirwatka, who will be the architect. Sirwatka header, and that sails wide from Bryce Nicholson. Jake Rajewski, a 5'8" sophomore, a junior rather, Gregory battling away, trying to win the ball, couldn't quite do it. Had it momentarily, but Adrian Millen galloping ahead. Stopping up here. Gregory! Can he find the angle? Taken down in the penalty area. And it was the goalie coming out there that time. Gabe Greenfield. Expected desperation shown there. We'll have more Blue Devil soccer for you on September 22nd when Madonna comes to town. That'll be 4 p.m. here on the LTU athletic field. Doing a nice job there defensively, saving a possible chance for Fleming was Alvaro Aleman, stretching out. And now what a job there down that right-hand side, pulled down. Streaking and galloping was Jake Rajewski. He's done an excellent job off the bench, and he provides some life into that Blue Devil crowd. Once again, the desperation on display as Rajewski, with potential and with promise, made his way down that right-hand side. And that'll set up the delivery. This time coming in from Rodriguez Bermejo. Curling on in. Gregory was the closest in the vicinity, realistically, for the Blue Devils that time. Still 1-1, under 20 to play now here in this second half. Which should be a heart-pounding final 18 minutes and change. The Blue Devils at 2-1-1 on the season under head coach Will Dyer, and Huntington under 19th year man Russ Lawson at 3-1 on the season. Andrew Wust, Josh Kessler, Kevin Keski, Nick Harmessen, Brad Buzzard also doing a nice job on that Huntington coaching staff early on this season. Now here's Fleming, navigating, searching and serpentining his way through, but this will go back to the Blue Devils. Tad bit over aggressive that time, not finding any of the ball. It was Blake Gibson defensively for Huntington, but defending illegally. And now chopped down there, drawing another foul. It was Gregory, and the yellow card is pulled out of the bag. Raising it up over the head of Jordan Morris, the freshman from South Bend, Indiana. Hoping to make an impact this season. Really feels like Rajewski has been all over the place. And there he is once more. Aleman gets past Fleming. Now looking. With his head down, has to slide it on over. Here is Nicholas Rodriguez Bermejo. Back he went to Aleman. The yellow card in the 73rd minute was presented to Jordan Morris. And now another chance for the corner. It'll be the 5th opportunity. Delivered in. Header a bit dangerous, but Huntington stands strong on the back line once more. Back the Blue Devils go. Header popped out. Now looking to settle things down. High ball, the joust for it. Tied up there, it's Morris, and it's Milling. Mentioned in the first half that, perhaps conditioning might play a factor, but it truly appears that the energy of this game is really what is soaring through the bodies. The pressure of this game is what is soaring through the bodies of these players right now in these final waiting moments, the final 15 minutes now. We're at 1-1. Can the Blue Devils change that? They went in search of Gregory once more. Edge of the area. Who can find possession? Fleming streaking, but we beat out by Alamon.
Entering the game for the Blue Devils, number 7, Alvaro Marino. Also entering the game for the Foresters, number 13, Christian Cohen, and number 21, Luke Humphrey.
Christian Cohen in on the Huntington side for Luzada. And Marino made his way in for Rajewski, who had such a nice performance. Now here is Kevin Wright up ahead. It goes for Marino. Seen him with possession quite a bit this afternoon. Looking to counterattack now are the Foresters. Broken up that time by Bryce Nicholson. Stepping in at 6'3". From Jenison High School. Started 13 of 18 matches a season ago. In a 1-goal, 1-assist effort, 2017. So obviously most of what he does won't show up on the stat sheet, providing such an excellent effort and making plays just like he did there, trying to start something for the Blue Devils now. But another nice job defensively from that Huntington back line. In the midst of things there, it was Jake Erlandson, 6'1" sophomore from Waynesville, Ohio. Travis Hurtis. Saw him over there quite a bit, really on both sides of the field in that first half. Are we bound for overtime, or are we bound for a possible thrilling finish? Both sides would love a game winner. Breaking free here. Yellow card once again, brought up that time. Christian Cohen recently subbed in the guilty party. Both players went up in the air that time trying to win the ball, and there might have been a collision between a forehead and a chin. It was Avila going up against Christian Cohen. The freshman Cohen. Trying to show his abilities in these final minutes. And the foul was called on Avia. Now chasing after it goes Kevin Wright. Two second-half goals for Huntington yesterday. They would love to have a second one once again this afternoon. Striking early for Huntington was Noah Fleming. Answering back was Chris Serwatka for the Blue Devils. And now in the 79th minute, we're knotted up. Marino. Still Marino. Trying to battle his way free, but watched there closely by Fleming. Plenty of critical interventions defensively on both sides. Fleming does a really nice job of hustling back defensively. There he is once again in the midst of things. Fleming claiming that he was hooked. Serwatka had other explanations of what happened. Nonetheless, it'll be Huntington with the goal kick here coming from Gabe Greenfield. Serwatka. Gregory. Serwatka back in after a quick breather. Yarmillo went back out. Nice play made there, stripping Fleming of the ball. Here goes Alaman. Fans enjoying the effort. Under 9 to play now. Here's the delivery, edge of the area, header. Promising chance that time for Garcia. The Mallorca native sticking his nose in there in search of a decider. Knight up ahead. Milling, promising. Alvaro Alaman. Here's Serwatka. Looking and galloping the trailer. Alaman and taken down from behind was Serwatka. The delivery coming out. That time, once again, Gabe Greenfield. About 5 inches shorter than the man in the opposite goal, but still plenty of jump and height in his game. Now the Huntington Foresters will try to go after Maxwell Jewett at 6'6", the goalkeeper for Lawrence Tech, trying to dance his way free. Here is Guillermo Lins Souza, had Fleming, but that ball goes out of play, and the Blue Devils will try to defend once more here, trying to stay in a compact state in these final 6 minutes, trying to stay mentally focused. A part of the battle, certainly, in this situation. Coach Will Dyer spoke about his team needing to really play a complete game, and this one obviously a different situation than yesterday, but still plenty of importance in the mental aspect of the game, if not more. Kevin Wright chasing after it, trying to slip and slide his way free. Defensively, Lynn Souza. Under 5 to play. Turning and looking up Milling. Under 4 to play here in this Blue Devil Classic Championship. Almost 7 p.m. here at the LTU Athletic Field. A chance here for Sirwatka. Edge of the area looking in. Couldn't quite get what he wanted on it. Deflected off the heel of a Forrester. And now Huntington will streak down. That delivery from Greenfield not quite long enough to reach the intended receiver. Flags go up on the near side. Blue Devils continuing to put the pressure on. Trying to slip free here, though, De Souza. And he goes down. Helped up and consoled, though, by a couple of Blue Devils. Last year, it was the Blue Devils suffering their first loss of the season in the opening round of the Blue Devil Classic, and that loss was at the hands of Huntington University. That was a 2-1 loss, and that was the last time that these two teams played. Huntington has the favor in the history of this matchup. They lead the all-time series 2-1. Both teams with high expectations. Last year it was Lawrence Tech taking the lead on a great cross from Bryce Nicholson, finding Nico Rubb. And this year a bit different how it's played out so far. It was Huntington finding the net early. The Blue Devils answering back. Huntington took the 2-1 lead in the 64th minute in that matchup last season, as getting up gingerly and walking off on his own weight. That's a great sight to see from Miguel de Souza.
Now with the game for the Foresters. Number 23, Noah Stanford.
And we're back underway. Clock was stopped at 2:11. And here we go. The final 2:11. Here's Sirwatka. Going cross field. Alaman reversing back over to this near side. Here is Nicholas Rodriguez Bermejo. Long shot that will sail wide and go through the uprights. Something the Blue Devil football team will hope to do in this time next weekend. Quite the scene last weekend here at Lawrence Tech. Tailgating on Saturday and then the following Wednesday, even with the volleyball match going on. Some tailgating there before and after. It's been lovely growth from this athletic department and lovely growth on campus, sparked by such great leaders in this athletic department. As we approach the final 60 seconds, both teams desperately trying to engineer something in this 1-1 tie. The Blue Devils will have the favor here. Streaking down that side went Milling, deterred on back. Final 40 seconds now. The header won that time by Alman, but back up with a tad bit of open space come the Foresters. Here is Matthias Luzada. Luzada once more goes on across, looking to settle things down now. Here is Guillermo Linsuda. Goes just wide left with 20 seconds to play. Nine seconds.
7, 6, 5,
And it appears as though we are bound for an extra session. There's a delivery at the final second from about 30 yards out. Oh, how magical that could have been. Saving the day is Jewett as time literally expired. Regulation unable to decide this one. And we'll be back on the other side of the break here on the LTU Sports Network. 1-1, but we're not finished just yet. And off we go into our first of what could be 2 overtime periods here at the LTU athletic field. Coaches discussed the possibility of a penalty kick shootout, but right now the focus is on this first overtime session. The Blue Devils obviously are coming off not too long ago a 1-1 tie against Kaiser. They're hoping not to repeat that, hoping for something better. As the lights turn on here at the LTU athletic field, we hit the 2-hour mark at about 7 p.m. now. Supporters look on of both Huntington and Lawrence Tech. And here we go. It's Erlandson. Back to Travis Hurtis. Obviously, both of these teams playing 90-minute matches yesterday. Plenty of soccer for 2 days' time. Obviously, going at the sport they love, though. Plenty of passion, plenty of energy, plenty of pressure out in these moments right now. The moments that you live for as a sport fan, and the moments that you live for as an athlete. It's a pleasure to bring it to you here on the LTU Sports Network. Blue Devil Classic Championship, as expected, as anticipated, going down to the wire. Linz Souza. Header popped on out. Now here's Luzada, stripped free. Knight. No goals today, but a hat trick yesterday. Kevin Wright. Linden, Michigan native. Now here's Nicholson. He's played so well defensively throughout this afternoon. (1-1), first overtime. Moving in here. Nice, calm stop there from Maxwell Jewett, who was tested in the final seconds, literally the final second of regulation from about 35 yards out. Would have been one for the history books had that gotten past a sprawling Jewett. Maxwell Jewett delivers down into the Huntington half with the crowd urging this Blue Devil side on. Here's Sirwatka looking to get free with his head up now, skating on through. Guillermo Lin Souza transitioning back the other way are the Foresters. Lin Souza. Alvaro Marino pressuring there defensively for the Blue Devils and doing it in a safe fashion. We've seen a few yellow cards raised this afternoon, a few controversial decisions. Wouldn't call it chippy, but it's been hard fought throughout, as we like it. Approaching the final 5 minutes now. Kevin Wright will head out. Coming in will be Juan Yaramillo. His second stint, his second appearance of this one. Alaman. Here's Yaramillo. Powers one through. The header floating wide, hopped up momentarily there on Gabe Greenfield's. Took a bit of an awkward hop to his left. Approaching with intention was Alvaro Marino. Not quite sure how realistic it might have been for Marino to get there, as now another collision ensues. Yaramillo slaps his right hand on the turf, getting up with an incredulous look on his face. The Blue Devils will take possession here. Under 4 to play in this first overtime. Blue Devils at 2-1-1 on the season. Huntington at 3-1. Blue Devils looking to avenge their loss from last season to Huntington. There's a shot and the game winner! They avenge it! Yes, they do! With 3:40 to play in overtime, the Blue Devils have just won this Blue Devil Classic. And they couldn't have picked a better time, a better moment against a better opponent. What a finish. 2 on the board for the Blue Devils, 1 on the board for the Foresters. The 5th shot on goal is the game winner. For Coach Will Dyer's team, they'll improve to 3-1-1 on the season. Chris Sirwatka, assisted by Alvaro Garcia. What a finish, what a moment. Sirwatka taking the jersey off with passion. The fans rise to their feet with passion. Quite the desirable result. And that'll do it here on the LTU Sports Network. The Blue Devils take home this Blue Devil Classic. Your final LTU 2, Huntington 1.